Okay, I was watching a very good episode of Coffee Break Tennis with Matt Bradshaw over there, and he was talking about the Federer match with Struff. And Bradshaw's point, well, he's very concerned about Federer's backhand, and I suppose there is some cause for concern. Federer's just making a number of errors, but there was also the weaknesses were being exposed because Struff was hitting to Federer's backhand often, in fact, at every opportunity. And then he was doing a bit of this approaching the net and then going to Federer's backhand. And Federer seemed to be making some errors, attempting to pass with his backhand after Struff had come to the net, making a few errors. So, what Matt Bradshaw believes is that the Djokovic folks and the sort of the advisors of some of the top players are going to look into this strategy based on the Struff strategy, essentially. Now, Struff is not a very highly ranked player, and he's never been beyond the second round of a Grand Slam, and Roger Federer the other day made sure that he did not go beyond the second round of this Grand Slam either. But the idea that Matt is articulating is a very interesting one. The strategy is somehow get to the net, and then when you're at the net or in your approach shot, optimally, go to Federer's backhand. Ultimately, I think it would be when you're already at the net, not necessarily for the approach, but then you risk, of course, a forehand passing as you're approaching. What I just wanted to say is this, and I said it a little bit in the comments over there to Coffee Break Tennis, but the basic idea is this, is that strategy is possibly a good one, but the problem is, who is going? I mean, Struff was doing some world-class stuff at the net today. And you know what? It's strange because Struff is not a very highly ranked player, but even the top players these days, the Nadals, the Djokovic's, they don't have they don't have a big toolkit at the net. They're not great net players. I mean, they could do they could do some very impressive stuff at the net. Not like Roger Federer can, but the point is that that's a very difficult strategy. I mean, first you're going to have to get to the net. I mean, the Federer team is going to anticipate that idea. They know Djokovic has got a statistician over there, and they know that they're going to be looking into a possible kind of strategy, emphasizing the backhand, maybe even up at the net. But the problem is, how do you do that? How do you get to the net with Roger Federer? It's not easy. It is not easy. There's a reason why there is all this baseline play. The baseline play basically predominates. It's because of people like Roger Federer. They make it very risky to come to the net. So, but they also make it very hard to get the proper approach shots in to come to the net. So it's a difficult strategy to pull off. You're going to have to take some risks, and you're probably going to have to pay for it too, because Federer will pass you, and Federer will make you pay if you come to the net on anything less than a perfect approach. So that's one problem, getting to the net. But once you are to the net, then you got to try to get it to Federer's backhand first. Second, you got to rely on the idea that Federer is going to make an error on his backhand. And you know what? I'm not convinced that's going to happen. I think he provided plenty of evidence in the Struff match that he can make this neo backhand work. There's a couple of passing shots that were just beautiful, in fact. So he's got that in his toolkit. But the other thing to do is to beat, and this is what will happen. This is what usually happens. In the Struff match today, it was strange because there wasn't a lot of this. Federer hung back a lot in the Struff match, but what he's going to do is he's going to beat the opponents to the net. Roger is far more capable than anybody virtually on this tour of getting to the net in a safe position on a great approach and doing the volleys that need to be done to end the point. He is the master, the maestro of that kind of play. Really, he is the top player in that regard, in that specific regard on the tour. So my response to Matt is, you're right. It's an insightful, very insightful point. But it's a difficult strategy. I don't know if a Nadal could do that, and if he could, I don't know if he's going to be very comfortable doing it. It's going to kind of knock him off his game. It's not the way he's beat Federer in the past. He can't beat Federer these days, so maybe it does pay. Maybe it would pay off for him to try something completely new, because his ordinary toolkit's not working. Now, Djokovic is a different story. I mean, Djokovic could be capable of doing that on a really good day, but I don't know if he has it in him. Can a Nick Kyrgios do that? Can a Zverev do that? Possibly, an Alexander Zverev, but he's a young guy, and that's kind of iffy. It's hard to predict if he's going to be playing well. Federer's been getting the better of him pretty often lately. I think the last time Zverev at in Montreal and at the Hopman Cup last year. But so the point is, difficult strategy and risky strategy if you're playing Roger Federer. So I'm not sure it does it. I'm confident about Roger. I had enough evidence from the Struff match that his backhand is doing fine, and he might even be playing some cards fairly close to the chest. He was making a few errors, but you know what? He needs the pressure. He needs the pressure. That's when that's when the Super Federer comes out, when there's pressure in those big matches. This was a walk. Wasn't a walk in the park. I was about to say that. That's wrong. With Struff, this was a fantastic match. I told you in my earlier video, go watch this match. It was just wonderful. It was fast-paced, intense. Unfortunately, Federer was making a few errors. Unfortunately, he was not getting many of his first serves in, although his second serve looked fantastic. His serve was looking basically fine because that was sort of an anomaly with the first serve percentage. He doesn't usually do that. I'm not worried about that one bit. The backhand is some cause for concern, but it really is just a little. It's just a tiny cause for concern. I am so happy with the way Roger Federer is looking. Mentally, it's just perfect. He's serious, he's committed, he wants the fucking championship. And he is playing some brutal, hard tennis, and Struff was a challenge, and Struff was playing phenomenally in the match with Federer, and Federer fought him off. Basically had an answer for everything, save for some of those backhand errors. That's my response to Matt, but Matt's very insightful point. My response is it's actually not a cause for concern. I think Federer has too many answers for that strategy, and in any case, I think it's a very hard strategy to pull off. I think Struff was able to do it today. Astoundingly, he was able to do it today in some instances, but it didn't get him the match, folks. Federer, remember, won that in straight sets. He's got tougher competition coming up, that's true, but I'm not sure if Nadal or even Djokovic is going to be capable of that kind of strategy, which sounds good in theory, but you know what? I think it's risky in the flesh on the court. Those are my 2 cents. Subscribe to this page, please. Subscribe to Matt's page too, but subscribe to this page for the essential, insightful tennis commentary. That's what I'm trying to give you. I love this game. I cannot wait for these matches. This tournament is working out, and the pieces are coming together. I see these tournaments literally as sort of works of art that come together organically, and I just love how the pace picks up. Everything is inexorable. It's a ruthless game, and Roger Federer is perfect because you know what? He is ultimately probably the most ruthless player. He's a nice guy. He's got a nice personality, but when it comes to playing the game of tennis, he is ruthless. He's as ruthless as the game itself. More to come later. I'll have more to say. Subscribe, like if you give it a thumbs up if you like what you hear. Let's talk soon. Peace be with you. Bye.